Hi, welcome to week 14 of me speaking impromptu. Today, I'm gonna speak while standing in this massive plane. So, what I should talk today? At the moment, in the world, the war of Iran, Israel, and US is going on for the third week now. But most of the things we heard and we knew about the conflict between these countries have changed massively over 3 weeks. There's so much information circulating around internet, and before we heard that Iran want to expand their territory and capture Middle East countries. We have heard that Iranian government is religious lunatics, so evil, so bad, they are killing their own citizens. But with the news that is going on in the present, we see America or the United States government, Trump, they are the ones who is more eager to conquer more countries and more land. Few days ago, I heard that Donald Trump saying he gonna take Cuba. He gonna take Cuba. And the journalist asking, how you gonna take Cuba? He said, just like any forms or any way, we gonna take Cuba. And before we have seen they have abducting the president of Venezuela. And even before that we have seen they are making so much demands to take Greenland. Even they were ready to step out from NATO. Even they are ready to fight with European countries to conquer Greenland. So from all those news, who do you think who wants to conquer land massively? And if you think about Trump, he's a real estate businessman. What he do? He just buy land and do some projects so he can make money and his investors can make money. And when he become the president, he have the power of a huge military. So he don't have to pay anything for some land. He don't have to do business. He just go to some country and say, oh, this country has so much oil. It's good for our business. This island have so much minerals. It is good for business and American people. So we're gonna take that land. How? Are we gonna pay them? Is Venezuela is rich now? Is Cuba, Libya is developed countries now? Is Afghanistan a developed country now? They have spent $2.3 trillion for the war in Afghanistan alone. Imagine how much you can do with that money. You could have built schools, education systems, political systems, and so much organizations that help people to start from the ground up and build their life, build their future. But what they did, they use all that money, taxpayers' money, American citizens' money, to fund wars and destroy the infrastructure and the survival of so much millions people. And even recently I have seen that Pentagon is demanding $200 billion to carry out this war. And for the last 20 years, if you think, Iran haven't invaded a country. If you see the list of countries Iran have invaded, you see none. They have a fight, a war between Iraq and Iran. Other than that, they haven't attacked another country. But USA, if you look at the list of countries attacked by USA over the last 50 years, 100 years, there's so much countries they have invaded or organized a coup or killed their president. Some intervene. Why? Because they have something to gain from that country to keep their monopoly in hand. Most of the leaders who have assassinated are leaders who oppose their dollar dominance or some system that they use to control the people. After that, after they assassinate that leaders, they're gonna appoint some leader who are in favor of them to do their bidding. That is what happening for so many years right now in the world. And also, they have blamed Iran that their government is run by religious lunatics, right? So, past few weeks, you have seen that Trump was sitting in a desk and there are some priests coming and praying for him or something like that. So, what do you call that? And even if you see the Secretary of Defense or someone, Hegseth or something, I think he is also linked to so much religious beliefs. And also, the US Army is motivated to go and fight against Iran by saying that this war will help their Messiah or Jesus Christ to come back to earth. And that's how they were brainwashed and motivated into going into war. Why? Who benefits from doing that? No one asked that questions. But if we see all these things as a current perspective, we are just ordinary citizens, right? And we see through media that they are carrying out this and showing out media. Even the president of America just tweeting, they have this much of time, after that we're going to attack. They're just saying the public, showing the public. But how do we know that they are telling that to Iranian government or they are speaking with that their officials? They just show us a drama. That's how I feel. They just make excuses. Imagine the media news they have shown to us last few weeks. They were just giving excuse after excuse. One person saying one thing, another person saying this is why we are attacking. And I saw another video, a member of a parliament or senate is talking about that how Iran can be an imminent threat to attack right now. The distance between US and Iran is so large and Iran doesn't have nuclear capabilities. They have accepted that. And also Iran doesn't have missiles that can go into US and destroy their homeland, US, right? But even that minister saying South, even the North Korea have missiles that can go into US and South and North Korea have nuclear weapons actually. But Iran, they have investigated by NPT, they have confirmed that they don't have nuclear weapons. But North Korea have nuclear weapons and also North Korea have missiles that can go into US. So from that perspective, who do you think is the imminent threat to US? So it should be North Korea, right? They were in a distance, a range that they can fire a missile that can land in US. Iran doesn't have that technology to fire a missile that can land in US. North Korea have nuclear weapons. Iran doesn't have. So how can Iran can be a threat? But somehow US have attacked Iran. And the funny thing is, not many people have talked against America, the actions they have taken. But when Iran attacking other countries, US bases in other countries, their ambassadors come to the media and saying that Iran is carrying out war crimes. They condemn Iran. How is that possible? Do you feel like there is some huge agenda carrying out behind? So when the war is going on, both parties have excuses, right? I saw some videos that interviews, they are doing interviews in an ordinary citizens. When they ask, what do you think about Trump's actions? Some people are supporting him, but some people are against him. From what I seen from the people who are supporting him is the ordinary citizens, ordinary employees who make money and just live their life. They don't care about what's happening in the world. What they exposed is mainstream media. From those media, they show you one perspective of the war, one perspective where they are getting harmed, they are getting attacked. They don't show their leaders what they are carrying out in Middle East, how they planning to destabilize Middle East. we don't see the bigger image around us. We only see the leaders come into the media and giving excuses. But so many, some say conspiracy theories, some say facts, that the leaders we see on the media are not the real people who control us, who create these agendas. They are just puppets who come into the media. They are just very good public speakers who come into the media and convince why they are doing what they are doing. And some people say they can be either leader, they can be a leader because some people have something to blackmail on, something to pressure them. So they don't behave independently. They always behave according to the orders they get from the people behind the curtains. Those people we don't see. For as a fact, what I know is humans are evolving, right? Humans are evolving. We are living in 2026 right now. From 1996, Netanyahu is telling that Iran is very close to creating a nuclear weapon. It's been 30 years and we haven't seen a nuclear weapon by Iran. So they are carrying out their agenda for nearly 30 years, giving excuses. Imagine the mindset you had in 1996 and 2026. The world has changed massively. There are many people, children are born into this world. They didn't bring that violence when coming into this world. They didn't bring division, they didn't bring hate when they are coming into this world. After they come into the world, what they want to do is they just want to survive in this world. They just want to provide their basic foods, shelter, and they need safety to live peacefully. That's why we have appointed leaders. That's why there are governments. Before these governments, there were kings, and we were not born at that time, right? The kings, they only just cared about themselves. They just did what best for them and to keep power around them. So from their capability, they did everything they can to keep the power around them. But after some time, people get tired of it. People realize that these kings are not doing any good for us. They are not creating better system for us to survive. That is how humans have evolved from kings to presidents and prime ministers. At first, democracy feels like really good idea. Everyone has a voice, everyone can speak and express their ideas. So everyone express their ideas. They have different ideologies, they have different beliefs. We have different colors, different ethnicities. So everyone, every ethnicity, every group wants something, right? And this system trying to make everyone unite. But those differences were not just came out because of democracy. We had those differences from thousands of years ago, but we lived in peace. Even in Palestine, Jewish people and Arabs living in peace as brothers. Even in Iran right now, there are Jewish living peacefully with Iran. Their churches are protected. Iranian government haven't targeted Jewish in Iran. If they really hate Jewish, they could have done that. But clearly, this war is not against Muslim people and Jewish. It is between Muslim countries or Iran versus Zionism. It can be Jewish Zionist, it can be Christian Zionist. That is what I have learned. If you want to learn more about science, if you can search on Google or do a research, you can learn so much about what is Zionism is, what is their ideology is. Even in soldier of Israel, IDF soldier, you see an emblem right here. They have the promised land. It says promised land or something. And they have the shape of the map. They want to capture, they want to conquer that land to create that prophecy. Most of the time, now US and Israel are talking by biblical terms. They talk about Jesus, they talk about evil, they talk about prophecies. Even the very educated people in US, they were talking about biblical rights that Israel have to conquer that land. Imagine when you are living in 2026 and how funny they are talking. Imagine the things they talk. Don't you feel like they all just working for a bigger agenda that we are not knowing? Some people say all this destabilization, all these problems are created by those people. So they can offer you the solution. They can offer you one world government, one system for you. So they can easily control what you consume, how you spend, how you live, how you create, everything. Without that system, you won't be able to survive. Even if they give you chemicals to eat, you will have no option and you will be so manipulated enough not to know that you are eating chemicals, right? But from the evolution perspective, we living in 2026, we are the ones who are living right now. They talk about biblical texts, books, about Quran or Bible. The people who have written those books are not here, are not alive today. Even the people mentioned in those books are not alive today. They are not breathing right now. And when your leader talks about biblical rights to kill millions of people and conquer that land, do you think they are in stabilized mind? Some people say this world is on war because of some old lunatics. I believe that statement is far more right. If you imagine the age of Trump, 80 years old, Netanyahu talking about Iran making nuclear weapons from 1996, even Al Khamenei, all. So much leaders are very old. They have formed those beliefs when they are really young, 20, 30 years ago. And still, for this day, they have repeated those beliefs in their dinner tables, in their day-to-day life, and it become the reality in their head. So even in 2026, they are carrying out those agendas, those beliefs in the world because they need to be happy by just doing something for their beliefs, right? But if you are a young child or young teen or young person, that is not what you want. You don't want your tax money is used to kill another human and conquer land. You simply want from leaders is to have systems, better ways for you to provide basic needs with ease, proper system that there is justice in this society, a proper system for you to feel safe in the society. But that is not what happening. Most of the terrorist organizations are also formed by US and Israel, their intelligence services. And most of the attacks are done by the same organization so they can point the finger at their enemy. So people watch the media and they believe that a Muslim country did this attack. But the reality can be so much different. The reality can be they carried out their own attacks and blaming some other country. For example, 9/11. There are so many cartoons because they are giving out their visions probably and so many conspiracy theories, but right now many people think they are not conspiracy theories, they are the reality that happening in the world. Right now the president of US is Trump, right? If you think about Trump, Donald Trump is the name given to him by his parents. But actually, he is just a human who received that power or received that position based on a system that they were inherited from his ancestors. Funny fact is, those ancestors are not among us right now, but their system slowly evolving and come into the age right now. They have so much power, even they don't listen to international criminal laws. They don't obey those laws because they believe with their military power and their media and their narrative, they can shape anything in the world and just kill people, harm people, and maintain their power. If you imagine ICE agents in America, have you seen how they are treating their own citizens? Have you seen how IDF soldiers treating their own citizens? It is the same way that Iranian regime have treated its citizens during the protest. But what the leaders come into the media and show, this leadership in Iran is so evil, so lunatics. They are killing their own people. So everyone has to come together to kick out those regime out of Iran. While they are doing the same in their country, they use humans, ICE agents, to do the same to their citizens, suppressing their citizens, and IDF soldiers doing same to the people who are protesting in Israel. Even they are censoring those news media without coming out to public. But Jewish people in Israel itself are protesting against its government. They don't want to join the war. They don't want an endless war that is keep happening in our time, in our golden time, in our beautiful youth times. They don't want that. But the question is, who wants that? And you can clearly see who wants that. If humans, if we are looking for change right now, change in the world how we live, and a stop to this war, we should not attack a person. Because if you think about Trump or Netanyahu, they are just two humans that happen to be there in this evolution, right? Imagine if we are in a parallel universe, it can be another person, let's say Mahatma Gandhi ruling America, and he was so pressured, so blackmailed that he has no option without carrying this war against Iran. So it is not about the person, it is the system and their excuses. We don't know what pushing them to carry out these wars, but there's something certain. They have been pressured, something behind them that we don't see to carry out these wars. After they carry out the wars, they are the ones responsible, right? So they have to come into the media and talk every day, and they have to tweet every day. This is why we are doing. They are so evil. Now no one come to help us. And even Trump famously said that they don't want the Strait of Hormuz. So please, other countries, if you want the Strait of Hormuz, or if you want to maintain your economy, you have to come and fight against Iran. That's how they are attracting allies. That's how they are attracting other countries into this war. So after some time, people forget that US did this alone, even without an imminent threat. They know that happened. People forget. Even people are forgot about Epstein files right now, right? They don't talk. Journalists don't ask about Epstein files from Trump. Is that faded? Is that gone? No victims? No culprits? Nothing. How they do that? That is psychology as well. If you think deeply and think clearly, they may be testing some theories about psychology, about your behavior. If you don't know about your own behavior, it is easy to manipulated by them. So right now, there are very old people who are in power. Their main job is to serve people, create systems for people to live freely. Even America doesn't have healthcare, free healthcare for its citizens, but they have money, your taxpayers' money, to bomb millions of people all over the world. And right now, Israel is carrying out massacre, genocide in Lebanon as well. Maybe they want to go to their vision, to their promised land before these are collapsing. They're just attacking civilians. It is against the human rights, war against the law, international court. It is against that. How can they just carry out those actions on civilians. They just destroy villages. Why? When there's a threat, when it is not safe for those people to survive, they just don't come into the media and talk and talk and fight. They just go somewhere safe from these missiles and bombs. They don't want to live in those neighborhoods, right? So when people go away from those lands, that land will be free. No one comes to protect it. No one comes to guard it. So easily they can conquer that land and call it Israel, right? It is happening in Gaza. When you see so many Palestinians are praying for Ramadan in front of the church, that church was closed. They can't go inside. It is controlled by Israel military. When you see those, I see a video. They are praying in front of the church, and all around the church, the buildings are collapsed. Buildings are collapsed. You can only see the remaining of the buildings. And do you think in those buildings are where the terrorists lived? I don't think so. I believe those are buildings where civilians, ordinary people, women, children, families just like you and me lived. But right now it is crushed. And we don't know how they feel. We don't know how they survive. We don't know where they fled to. But right now, when no one lives in that land because of it is not safe, they don't care about it is holy land or where the God born or God lived. They don't care because they are the ones who is breathing right now. If it is not safe to them, what they do is they just go away from that land, and it is easy for some government, for some powerful people to conquer that land. And I saw another guy recently saying that Turkey is the next target, Turkey is the next threat, Turkey is the next Iran. Even we haven't heard what Turkey is capable of. But they just come into the media. Our former Prime Minister of Israel have made a statement that Turkey is the next Iran. Imagine. That's how they slowly plant the seed of fear, right? They just plant something, a threat for their people for the people in the world follows those media. And most of those media are also controlled and managed by the same organizations who is behind Zionism, Israel and US. If you think about, I saw Epstein's girlfriend's father is the one who owned so much media channels. There are so many videos that circulating in the internet that linking their actions and the past events that happened in the world, all just pointing towards one major agenda. We don't know what the agenda is, but I have seen some people say they want to make it one world government, one digital currency, one way of survival for you. So they can control you. They can control the markets. They can feed you poison and sell you medicine. Imagine how cool is that. But my friend, is that the way that you want to live? Eat poison from some organization and also get medicine from the same company who made the poison food? Is that the life you want to live? Is that the way we want to thrive? No matter you are Jewish, Muslim or Christian or whatever, humans want to be happy. Humans want to be fulfilled. Humans want to thrive. They want to live in peace, safety. They want to belong. But we divided into nations and fight each other. Imagine if there were other planets nearby that we can reach and there are humans just like us. We would unite as one Earth, one planet, one humanity and attack those planets, right? But right now we don't have anyone to fight. Since humans have created technology, bigger weapons that we can destroy, we have to use them. Otherwise, what's the point? Otherwise, how the people who made them make profits? There's no way. So that they have to be reason. For there have to be reason, there should be an enemy. To have an enemy, you have to show the narrative as creating an enemy through your media. And also you should have leaders who just give excuses for carrying out these wars. That's how those organizations can pump taxpayers' money, citizens' money into their products without you knowing. They just take your money as profits by selling weapons to their governments, other governments, terrorist organizations. Even if you just give 1 billion of weapons to terrorist organization and train them, we don't know who create them, who train them, who feed them. After some time they get strong, they get independent, and what we see is an enemy that's shown to us by media. Even those people in those terrorist organizations do not know that they have been manipulated. Most of the young people in those terrorist organizations are humans, just like you and me, displaced from war carrying out by all lunatics in the world. They don't know their game. What they know is their survival is destroyed, their homes are destroyed, their neighbors are destroyed, and they don't have a purpose in their life. And some people come to them and feed them, give luxury, everything, every facility, and then they have a purpose, hope to fight for their organization, terrorist organization. And the enemy is created and they make an attack from the enemy, or they just orchestrate the attack and blame on the enemy because there's an organization called Hamas or Hezbollah or ISIS. So they can show the enemy to the world and people just believe, there are terrorists. So the government is doing some good and they are just taking oil from other countries so we can live happy. Our survival is not impacted, so why do we care? That's how most American citizens think right now probably. But from your taxpayers' money, there are millions of people who are displaced, attacked, harmed, killed. That's the simple truth. And if we don't stand up against it, if we don't speak against it, they just carry out, just like Epstein files. You didn't talk much, you didn't pressure much, millions of people didn't talk, so it just got suppressed. No one talking about it now, but one day I'm sure it will come up to the surface again. But right now, they just live free. Imagine it is done by an Islamic regime, Islamic country. Imagine if it is done by Russia. Imagine it is done by just a normal citizen, ordinary citizens. How the law will be impacted on them, and think about how the law is impacted on those same people in Epstein files right now. You don't have to speak loud. Maybe even if you treat the person you meet with love and kindness, I believe we are making a small change towards future. Most of us right now asking them to stop the war, but maybe even they don't know how to stop the war, right? US as a major superpower in the world seems like they are not good listeners. They just want to take countries, attack countries, and take the resources and do what they want for their agendas. We don't know their agendas behind them. What we know is from their actions, most of the people in the world are affected. So my friend, what I want to ask from you is this the way that you want to live, or do you want to create a better world for us? If humans are evolving, right now we have evolved up to now from the things we have inherited from our ancestors. The systems, wars are things that we have inherited, but that is maybe not the whole truth. Even our ancestors are humans who are born just like you. They were also born like babies at one time. That is the truth. And they have carried out from where their ancestors have stopped, and we have carried out it until 2026. So what we have to decide right now is we see everything happening in the world. If it is not fake news, with the technology we see a lot of things that happening easily. Our parents didn't have that luxury. They just did what they were told and what they were shown from media. But right now, from your phone, you can see the excuses from both the parties. Before, our parents, they just saw the excuses of one party and the enemy. But right now, if you think properly, the enemy that called by the media is maybe not the real enemy. And whoever got harmed, impacted from the war is not those leaders. It is you and me. It is soldiers. It is civilians. They're just doing it for fun, you know. So whether you like it or not, we have evolved to 2026 right now. But from now on, the question is, do you want to continue what you have inherited from the ancestors who were born before you? Or do you want to continue in a new direction where everyone is included, all humans? Do you want to evolve in a direction where leaders really serve the citizens, where leaders really can think and focus on you and create better systems for us to survive? If we think enough, there are so many options for us to survive. But right now, your silence is approval of the world leaders to continue their agendas. But we should not be like that. We should think for ourselves. We should think how we want to evolve. If we have the knowledge, education right now, easy to access, we have to think, do we need war to survive, or do we need better systems for us to survive? And most of the time, the wars are happening from a reason of resources, control, ideologies, beliefs, biblical text. But if we are fighting for resources, what I have to say is, we can easily create better system for us to share resources. Even money is created by us. Before that, humans have survived by sharing, by loving, uniting with harmony as one human beings in all around the world. We are not separate. We all are connected. Even if you are Jewish, Muslim, Christian, just your ethnicity, religion that you have inherited from birth. Other than that, you all are humans who just experience this life from your first breath to the last breath. It is simple as that. And we all just want to be safe, fulfilled, eat and sleep peacefully. So if we create leaders who think like that, who can really prioritize your well-being, your lifestyle, they also have 24 hours just like you and me. So with that time, they will prioritize you. They will speak, talk and listen till they can come together and build, create system for us to survive. So we should ask leaders to talk more, communicate more. We have better translators. So why not we ask them to communicate? Why not we ask them to realize that the human being get killed by Lebanon or Iran or in Middle East country or Israel? It is a human being just like you and me who likes to live peacefully. That's the only realization we need to come across for leaders to really care about people. And it's getting dark, so I need to go for now. Be safe.